Okay, so I'm going to make this quick video talking about letting go. And you know, the book Letting Go, like I'm sure if you're in the spiritual circle, you must have heard of this book by, I think, Dr. R. Hawking, someone like that. And an insight that I had from the book that just kind of descended upon me and like materialized into actual wisdom was what the process of letting go is. And I feel like meditation by itself doesn't really teach you this. It doesn't teach you what to do, or at least for me, it hasn't taught me what to do in the moment of like feeling an anxious emotion or feeling a negative emotion. Like, what do you actually do? Like, what is the conscious mechanism in by which you dissolve or you actually kind of let out the tension of that emotion? What do you focus on? Where do you focus? Like, these are things that I didn't understand up until just recently. So I was on like a retreat a couple days ago and I was feeling like a lot of tension in my body. Like the whole retreat, I was feeling this like anxiety within my body. And this anxiety was causing thoughts to come up in my mind. And I was thinking about these thoughts and I was just feeling like very nervous, very anxious, very kind of, yeah, I was just in my own head basically. I didn't feel present. I could barely meditate on the retreat. I was focusing on these anxious thoughts. So my body, especially my chest and like my heart area was feeling like there was a knot in there. And the thoughts kept coming up and I kept trying to understand the thoughts or to kind of I was taking the thoughts seriously. I was like, oh, okay, but I shouldn't think that, or I should think that. And I was really being aware of the thoughts as well. At points, I was watching the thoughts. I was just letting them go. Some points I was taking them seriously. Some points I'm letting them go. But everything was happening like up here, basically. It was happening in my mind. It was happening like just it was completely detached from my body. And this is when I realized the letting go process is actually a really physical process by nature. It's like it's a sensation based process. And what I realized, and this like completely kind of changed what I was feeling in the moment. What I realized was that I would just have to pay attention to the sensation in my body. And I reread the book and I really like understood this. It's like, forget about your thoughts. Don't hate your thoughts. Don't like be apathetic or angry towards your thoughts, but your thoughts aren't the thing that you need to pay attention to. Your conscious awareness shouldn't be directed to your thoughts and watching your thoughts constantly. It's actually from watching the underlying feeling and the sensations that are arising in your body that allows you to dissolve this whole like anxiety feeling in a sense. So essentially one feeling, one sensation in your body. So you have a knot in your stomach, you feel anxious. This leads to thousands and thousands of different thoughts. And what you're doing essentially by paying attention to the thoughts and kind of watching them in this meditative way is you're looking at the symptoms without addressing the root cause. So the root cause is the body and the sensations of the body. You are like one body mind. Your body sensations affect your thoughts, or they are the thing that is responsible for your thoughts. It's just how you're interpreting different sensations within your body. So I started paying attention to this knot in my stomach and in my heart area, and I started watching it. And the letting go technique, for those of you that don't know, is to watch the thought or watch the feeling without wanting to change it at all, with accepting it and letting the kind of energy come out as it will. And it's quite paradoxical in nature because if you're anxious, you're like, oh, I want to get out of this situation. But you kind of take a step back and you look at the anxiety, and this is what helped me, as almost something outside of yourself. You look at it, I kind of anthropomorphized it in my head. I was like, oh, anxiety is like just its own individual entity, like kind of inhabiting my body, which I think closer to the truth. But essentially, I felt the anxiety within my body as its own thing. And I just let it be. Like I essentially thought in my head, like, oh, I'm completely okay with this anxiety, or I love this anxiety. Like, it's just another thing in conscious experience. And like, you might think, oh, I love this anxiety as a cope. But in the moment, like, I genuinely had an acceptance of that anxiety because I was paying attention to its feelings almost. Like, it's quite weird, but me and the anxiety were getting pretty intimate. So I was paying attention to it and I was feeling into it. And I was like, it's okay. Like, you can be you, essentially. I was like giving the anxiety permission to be anxious, to run its course. And lo and behold, that knot in my stomach and in my chest slowly started dissolving. It slowly started melting away, and a lighter like sensation accompanied like my mood. Like, after, it was just much lighter. It felt much nicer. And the anxiety, like, there was still pulses of it occasionally, but I was like okay with it. And then what happened was, after the anxiety was like kind of given attention to, the thoughts stopped popping up in my head. Like, anxious thoughts stopped popping up in my head, because it's, like I said, sensation, body first, and then it comes into your mind. And there's like, it's like a feedback mechanism where they bounce off each other. But when you're feeling something, you're feeling it with your body. It's, the thoughts themselves aren't painful. Like, thoughts don't hold any weight to them. It's the underlying feelings that accompany them that actually cause the suffering. And so I just realized this. Like, I read Letting Go about like 2 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And this idea just never sunk into my head. And I meditate and I watch my thoughts, but I didn't really understand what the benefit to watching your feelings was and how that was related to your thoughts. So yeah, I just wanted to share this insight. I hope it helped, because it really, really was transformative for me. And I think that now that I kind of have a better grasp of this letting go technique, I'll be able to use it way more, because I know what to pay attention to. And it's kind of a superpower once you know what to pay attention to and how to utilize your awareness to kind of just melt your conditionings away. But yeah, anyways, hopefully this video helped, and yeah, take care.